Welcome to Stadium Bets, everybody, on Stadium, your weekend betting location. And that is Colby, that is Nate, I'm Ben, and we got Monty running the sticks. We appreciate everyone tuning in for this weekend of bets, guys. College football, NFL, we're deep in the weeds. We got picks. We're excited. Nate, how you feeling?
Yeah, good. I like a lot of games this week, especially the NFL, but college, really loaded slate. It's kind of the time of the year where all these games matter, and even if there's big point spreads, always those big teams on upset watch, and they're playing with a lot of pressure against teams that are trying to play spoiler. So it's really fun Saturdays in terms of watching. And then NFL, I think I really like this card for NFL Week 10 already.
Colby over there in the corner, you feeling good?
We talked before the show. I told you most of this is just going to be off the eye test and vibes because we're so far into the season that
it's the vibes
I don't
week,
need
man.
stats.
I'm excited.
I go off the old peepers. They know all.
Analytics.
Yeah, exactly. Colby's a guts guy, not a brain guy, and we love that about him. So we got college football on slate. Let's start with Michigan and Penn State, one of the bigger games. It's a noon kickoff Eastern time at Penn State. The line is 4.5 in favor of Michigan. 45.5 is the total. This could be a fun one, a fun Big Ten matchup at noon.
I mean, we just have to get we have to say that Michigan, we haven't previewed this year.
Yeah.
One of the best teams historically, statistically in college football, but they haven't played an opponent good enough for us to talk about this in the big game preview section. I don't think we've even bet on them in other bets, any college bets.
No,
definitely haven't bet against them as in the underdog section, and I don't think they've been the best bet. So
never mind, that was Ohio State, Western
Michigan.
Michigan.
That's the opposite school of Michigan.
First Michigan game that we're previewing this season. They have a very impressive stats, but they haven't played anyone. The smallest point spread in a game they've been involved in this year was -17.5. at Nebraska, and that was 6 weeks ago when we thought maybe Michigan wasn't as good as what they have shown just because they haven't played anyone. So for me, I'm going to use Penn State plus 4.5 here. Definitely not something I'm loving because Michigan might be that good. But what if Michigan isn't that good because they haven't played anyone? So I'm going to leave it there. I know you guys are on the opposite, so I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, Colby, go ahead. Start our argument for us.
Yeah, like you said, you're on the what if bet. But we've already seen what Penn State can do against a good team. We saw them against Ohio State, and I simply cannot bet that team ever again. That was horrific. That was offensive, and that was a disgrace to the offensive side of football. I think Michigan.
You just described the Big Ten.
If Michigan is the real deal, that doesn't matter who they played, and I think they could. I think 4.5's fine. I think they can do it.
4.5's too low, Colby. It's just too low. Michigan's the best team in the country, in my opinion.
I was shocked it was that low.
I really was too. I'm betting Michigan. I'm going to put a bet on them after the show's over, and hopefully it gets down to 4. I've seen a couple 4s pop up here and there, but it's just this simple. Michigan's the best team in the country right now, and I don't think a team like Penn State is going to be able to really do much that's going to scare them. James Franklin against a top 10 team.
Not good against them.
Good point.
I don't trust James Franklin at all. And I love the fact too that this game's not at night. This is a noon start in Penn State. It's not going to be a tough environment.
Why do I have to wait all day for the best game of the day?
Yeah, give me Michigan. Their offensive line is great. Their offense is great. We know how good their defense is. I just don't think Penn State stacks up against this Michigan team in any way, shape, or form. Give me 4.5. Hell, give it up to 6.5 for me. I love Michigan to win this game, and I'm not going to be surprised if they win by double digits. Go blue, baby. All right, second game of the week that we wanted to highlight. Ole Miss at Georgia. Spread is 10.5, 11 favor of the Bulldogs. 58.5 is the total. I'm gonna go the under here, Nate. I'm gonna go the under with some of this team. I think the scoring is going to be far and few in between. And I know you look at both these teams' averages, points per game wise, and it's high in the 30s for both these teams. And Ole Miss, we know that they can score at will given the chance. But I think the fact you look at the numbers, Ole Miss, 0-3 to the under on the road. They don't play as well offensively on the road. They tend to slow the pace down. They struggle sometimes against good defenses. And Georgia at home hits the under 4 out of 6 times this season. I think both these offenses, we know this is a pretty big game. Georgia slowed the pace down a little bit against Missouri when it was close, and I think this game might be closer than people expect. The pace slows down a bit. Georgia's defense is really good. Ole Miss can be inconsistent offensively. Give me the under. 58.5, 59. Hopefully it goes up by Saturday that I can bet it.
It's going to be a low-scoring game, Ben. I think I'll have to take Ole Miss.
Ooh.
Now, Georgia, I think they're the biggest frauds. I will stand by that. They're 1-7 against the spread.
Like in general? Or
the
just
whole
against
season,
the spread?
they're the biggest frauds. They're 1-7 against.
Sure, you're not talking about Ole Miss?
No. 1-7 against the spread on a weak schedule. One of the weakest in the country. No Brock Bowers. They struggled against Missouri. Ole Miss has been battle tested. They played LSU, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas A&M. I'm going with the Rebels. Potty. Quit shaking your head, Nate.
I mean, how could you call Georgia fraud
played?
when you're praising Michigan, whose best team they beat was Rutgers?
I could be however I could be.
Michigan's
I can do whatever
not
I want.
fraudulent. Michigan's not
Okay,
fraudulent.
well, anyway, the biggest
Don't you
fraud in this
dare say
game
that
is
about
the team from
Michigan.
Oxford, Mississippi. It's Ole Miss, a team that blows -3 against A&M at home, with A&M missing some key players, and then they almost lost the game. So Ole Miss gets exposed here. I think we're getting a price discount on Georgia because they didn't look good against Missouri. I'm laying with Georgia -10.5.
You faded Ole Miss last week too, right?
I've been fading them all season.
You love it. Let's open up the board. We got other college football bets to get to, guys. This is going to get a little gross. We have some really interesting bets here. We'll start out with Nate. What do you like this week?
Yeah, I would wait and see if you can get a +3 on UCF, but we'll grade it here +2.5 on the Knights. Surprised Colby didn't have this as part of his card, considering Oklahoma State fans stormed the field last week
that's
in
a
a
system
game
play.
Tell me.
against Oklahoma. Forgot to tell you, that was Bedlam. That was a national
That should
TV
be in your
game.
notes every weekend.
That was a standalone game. The last
One of us read a
Bedlam.
wedding.
No excuse at all. That is
Congratulations to your friends.
no excuse at all. But yeah, UCF +2.5. I think they win this game. I think Oklahoma State's time to sell high on the Pokes, who actually are in the driver's seat to represent or be one of the teams in the Big 12 title game. It looks like it could be Texas against Oklahoma State, which would have been crazy to say a few months ago when Oklahoma State was losing to South Alabama and Iowa State. But it was a great turnaround for Oklahoma State, but I think it ends here. Give me UCF +2.5.
Buzz.
Oh, we're buzzing.
You're
Taking
buzzing?
Georgia Tech +14.5 at Clemson. Clemson played Notre Dame last week extremely well. I was shocked. Nate wasn't. We know the story. That means it's just like a storm, boys. Big letdown spot. They played probably their toughest opponent in a long time. Georgia Tech is rolling. They took care of UNC. They took care of Virginia when we all thought they wouldn't. Last 2 weeks, they've been fine. I think the Jackets get it done.
Buzz. I like it.
Buzz.
I'm going to go with Nate's alma mater. Missouri money line this weekend against Tennessee. They're back at home. They played Georgia pretty well, and I think people really appreciated how much of a game that became. And if it wasn't for kind of a freak interception by a defensive lineman, Missouri might have a chance to win that game. They were driving to, I believe, tie it up at that point. So I'm going to take them on the money line as an underdog at home against Tennessee. If you remember last season, Tennessee did a little bit showboating last year. I don't know if you appreciated that on Mizzou. They won 66-24. They threw some late touchdown passes that I don't think Eli Drinkwitz really appreciated. This is a revenge game for Missouri. They have a much better defense. They have a good offense. I think they're going to be able to compete and win this game against Tennessee. Joe Milton, he's been decent to good the past 3 weeks. And what's the one thing we know about Joe Milton? Inconsistent. That guy's inconsistent. So I'm going to expect maybe a bad game on the road at Mizzou. Give me the Tigers on the money line, baby. That's plus money. I love it.
Hope you're right.
I hope so too. All right, Iowa bet time. The under in Wrigleyville hit last week. Monty, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Yeah?
And that's why we're going to go right back to an under.
As he should.
Oh my
28 and a
God.
half, lowest one ever in tracking these, which is just insane.
Ridiculous.
I mean, this is the first half under, and half of these games we probably just talked about. So it's pretty unreal.
Your team is crazy, man.
I know, and they've been so annoying. So I think I should have just been betting the unders all season. I think I was too close to the program, too much hope,
Too close to the
hoping they
program.
would figure something out on offense, and clearly they're
And
not
an Iowa
going to.
insider.
So, as last in FBS in yards per game on offense, it's just an absolute joke. So, and both defenses are good, both top 10 in yards per play. So I'm hoping, I'm worried that Iowa loses this week. This is the best team left on their schedule, I think. Maybe you can argue Nebraska, but this could be an upset in Iowa City, and I'm just gonna go with the under. Why
What
not?
about an alt under of 24.5?
I think if you want to alt it down to under 10, you could do
What's
that.
the lowest they
you know?
go?
Under
Like
10?
16.5?
Probably. I'm curious too. We should
We'll
look.
have to look at that Saturday
Yeah,
morning
you-
when those markets become
There's
more
not a
available.
number you can't take. If you could take under 0, I would take it.
Oh, I
Monty,
love
would
it.
you rather have USC's defense or Iowa's offense?
Oh gosh.
We need them to play. We need the Big Ten to have happened this year with USC in it. That would have been an amazing game.
I mean,
Yeah, just the odds for
Iowa
that
would
game.
look
I don't
good.
even know. I don't know what
Stoppable
would have
force versus movable object.
That would have been amazing what the side and total would have been for a USC Iowa game, especially if it was in Iowa City.
really wild. All right, we are just getting started. We got NFL bets. We got underdogs of the week. We got best bets. That's all coming up. 49ers, Jags. We're excited. 2 teams off a bye. That's all coming up next on Stadium. Welcome back to Stadium Bets. It's NFL time. We got Colby, Nate, Ben, and Monty running the sticks. And guys, let's go to the National Football League. We have a couple fun games that we wanted to hit. We'll start with the 2 teams off a bye. 49ers at the Jaguars. Line 49ers -3. Total is 46. And I'll start this one off with the 49ers. I'm going to take the 49ers -3. Kyle Shanahan after a bye. I love that. I love that he got time to game plan. I love that the 49ers got a little bit more healthy. Trent Williams, I think, might come back. Debo might come back. Yep. Brock Purdy's not going to be concussed. That's awesome. I don't know how he was able to come back in less than a week after being concussed 2 weeks ago. So I think he's had a week off, time to rest the head. He's going to be making better decisions. He's going to have a healthier roster. Even the 49ers, off a bye, -3, just a short favorite. Love it.
Yeah, I would have agreed with this if it was at -2.5. At -3, I'm going to kind of stay away. But I do like the over in this game, over 46. And a lot of the reasons you said about liking the 49ers offense off the bye, getting healthier with those guys coming back. At the same time, I also like the Jags offense and what they did in the most recent weeks, including last game. They only scored 20 points against the Steelers and some inclement weather, but they settled for 4 field goals and had 3 turnovers inside the Steelers' 35. So I think there's a lot of potential for both these offenses to kind of positively regress after the last games we saw from them in Week 8. So I like over here in Jacksonville, Florida on Sunday afternoon.
What are you taking?
Taking the Jags.
Ooh.
I don't have much to say, but I have more to say later.
Is this a gut pick?
The Jags have covered in 5 straight weeks. The 49ers have not just been, the kids say, it hasn't been hitting the same. Maybe they did need this bye.
Because Purdy's been concussed.
Maybe they did need this bye, but on the road, the 49ers aren't that sexy. And I think the Jags offense is pretty sexy. Thanks, Nate, for letting me know.
First half over, maybe? We were talking about
No,
that.
yeah, I think the 49ers come out with a good script. I think the Jaguars come out with a good script. Doug Peterson, very good game planner, extra time to prepare. And the 49ers, their defense in terms of coaching and personnel taking a step back. Although they did add Chase Young at the trade deadline, so pretty nice just to pick up
I forgot to mention that.
Second overall pick in 2020. Just kind of bring him into your pass rush rotation.
Yeah, I put that in my notes. Good call. Next game that we wanted to get to, Browns at the Ravens. Ravens have been hot. -6. 38 is the total. It's a low total. We're going to go to you in the Colby corner over there. You'll start us off.
Started it off for me. The
what
Ravens,
what do you like?
-6. Give it to me.
Really? You're going with the hot team?
Fire. Come on. They put up 24-plus points per game in the last few weeks. They've covered in 3 of their 4 last games. They are just so much better than the Browns.
Are they?
Yes. I know, and I know the AFC North games are always super intense and they're always close, but the Ravens showed you a month ago that they won 28-3. What else do I need? They're home now. Ravens.
They are.
Yeah, I'm going to go Browns. Browns +6. I actually considered the under in this game, but
Love it.
I feel like it's a little bit too low where a turnover could kind of change the game, and it'll be hard to go under if there was a pick 6 or something. But I think this line's a little inflated based off how good the Ravens looked against the Lions and the Seahawks last week. And the Browns, a team that's very familiar with the Ravens because they play twice a year. So I feel like this is going to be closer just based on familiarity. I am worried, though, about the Browns offense. Deshaun Watson, lose left tackle Jedrick Wills for a couple weeks or over a month. Who knows? It could be longer the way he was off in an air cast. He's not a great offensive lineman, but still it's a tough piece to miss. And then Browns aren't running the ball well without Nick Chubb. I think it's starting to catch up to them. So I do have my reservations for the Browns. I just think this line kind of reflects all their struggles, and +6 is a lot given that
for a division game too.
Yeah, in week 4, I mean. Browns were hosting the Ravens, and Browns at one point were -3 that week, and that was the game that Deshaun Watson late in the week didn't play, or we found out he wasn't going to play. So, and I think this is kind of a big jump to -6 for the Ravens, especially off a really good game with the Seahawks last week.
Yeah, give me the Browns. Give me the Browns +6 for all the reasons that Nate listed. I think a healthier Deshaun Watson. That might be better, but their defense is legit, and I think the Ravens, again, it's a team that these guys have seen before. I like the familiarity aspect here in that angle with the Browns, knowing what the Ravens are coming from and what they're doing and how to defend Lamar Jackson. It's not my strongest play of the week by any means, but I do like the Browns as the underdog. I know it's on the road. I know it's Baltimore. I know they've been hot, Might be time to fade them, though.
Caliente.
Might be time to fade. I'm not going to say the Ravens are going to lose, but I like the Browns, +6. Let's open up the board, gentlemen. NFL bets. You can pick anything you want. We have a lot of places to go. I'll start us off. You know I like the Tennessee Titans as an underdog.
Always.
They're not,
Here you go.
they're not a home dog. I love Mike Vrabel as a dog. He's on the road, though, this week. But it's Will Levis time, guys. I don't know if you've heard. This guy's a good quarterback from Kentucky. You know how bad
Mayo
Kentucky
boy?
is now? That's how good he was. Mayo boy. And I might try some mayo with my coffee this weekend in honor of Will Levis because he, whether or not he's good or bad, he's convinced me that he is good. From watching him play last week, I think going on the road against the Steelers is a bad spot for him. And I know that's why the Tennessee Titans lost. This week, they go on the road, good weather in Tampa. Give me Will Levis and the Titans as an underdog. They're great as an underdog under Mike Vrabel. Here's the stat I found, guys. 9-3 as a road dog against a team with a losing record. The Titans are 9-3. This is a good matchup. I like the Titans. I love Will Levis. And I know that's the kiss of death whenever I say I like a quarterback, but it's not happening this week, guys.
Hold
Titans
on.
money line.
This isn't Chris Johnson's Titans.
No. This isn't your older brother.
This isn't your older brother.
Tennessee Titans.
No, I don't hate the pick. I was just puzzled by
love
what you
Will
said
Levis.
about Mayo and coffee.
Oh, listen, if this guy wins this game, I will have mayo and coffee
On the
next
show.
week.
I
On
think
the
it'd
show.
be better.
I'll have it on the
On the
show.
show.
I think if they
do
lose
it for
the game,
social.
you should.
Oh, yeah. Either way, I guess I have to do
Regardless,
it then. If he wins, you guys have to do it. If they lose, I'll do it.
No,
I will not agree to that.
no,
I'm not
absolutely
throwing up
not.
on
Bunch
air.
of cowards.
I don't
Bunch of
drink
cowards.
coffee anyway.
Oh,
Mayo with decaf coffee.
with Mountain
All
Dew.
right.
Mountain Dew.
Hit us off. What's your bet?
Let's go to the afternoon slate. Lions
Dew.
-2.5 against the Chargers. 8-day rest advantage for the Lions in this game.
Ooh.
They're off a bye. Chargers played Monday night across the country, so just a huge advantage and another example of the NFL schedule makers not really understanding what they're doing. So,
I love it.
I like the Lions. I think they're going to have the home field advantage in LA because Detroit fans have traveled really well this season.
Yeah.
And the Chargers offense just not impressive. I know they won 27-6 against the Jets. They had 3.4 yards per play. They had a punt return for a touchdown. They had another short field, a 50-yard touchdown drive, and then the capper to get to 27 points, a 2-yard touchdown drive on one play, and Austin Eckler run because of some sort of turnover. I kind of was dozing off to sleep, so I didn't really know what happened. But I know the Jets had 3 turnovers, and that greatly benefited the Chargers, whose offense is not clicking without a true field stretcher on the outside. So, like the Lions here, -2.5 or better, go Detroit.
Colby, you need to do the chant if you're going to do this pick.
Jets. All right, so I think this number will flip. So take them
Okay.
at the money line or wait until it's +1, +1.5, whatever. It's going to keep moving because people are loving the new Raiders. But I got some math for you guys. You know what? I'm not good with math. I know, Ben's face. But I'm going to give you some math. Cigars
Okay.
after a 4th win, new coach equals fade no matter what. They're coming off a win versus Tommy DeVito. Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Oh, and then
You don't trust
now
Tommy
it's going to
DeVito?
be Aiden O'Connell versus the Jets defense. I laugh. Take the Jets.
Jets.
I'll have more on this in the next block.
Ooh, little teaser. I love it. All right. Dogs with Bite coming up next. We're going to get dressed up. We also got our best bets for the weekend. That's all next on Stadium Bets. Welcome back to Stadium Bets. We're dressed up. It's underdog and best bet time, gentlemen. We will start, as we always do, with the world-famous segment, our Dogs with Bite. Colby's in there cooking up best bets. Not yet, Colby. But we'll start with Dogs with Bite. For you.
Oh.
You got the ears?
All right. Oh,
Yeah, there
we're
we
back
go.
with the Jags. Oh, my God. We're back with the
Oh,
Jags.
wow. He was teasing it all show.
Oh.
Who would have
What are my
thought?
thoughts?
Yeah.
Travis Etienne has a game. He's utilized well, moves the ball. The offense is fine. The Jags defense can hold the Niners 17 points, which they've been held to in 3 straight games. Outright win.
Wow. You're That's disturbing. I don't know how I can follow that one. Texas Tech. I don't know what sound a Red Raider makes, but I'll go
Pew,
Texas
pew,
Tech.
pew, pew.
Yeah.
This is a team with their backs against the walls. They need 2 out of 3 of their next games to be wins in order for them to make a bowl. And their last game of the season's against Texas. So I think if you're the Red Raiders, you're canceling that out. That's a loss. So you need these next 2 games. I'm going to take Texas Tech over Kansas. They had a bad game last week. Texas Tech, 7 flags.
Wow.
And they still won that game against TCU on the road. I think this is a better team when they don't get flagged, and I don't see them getting flagged that badly 2 weeks in a row. 3.5-point underdogs on the road. They have their head coach, Joey McGuire, said they're fully healthy, which I really appreciate. So I like Texas Tech in this position. Kansas has had 2 big wins. We wanted to fade Kansas last week. You both faded Kansas last week. I'm fading them this
Close.
week. I think this is the week to do it. Give me the Texas Tech Red Raiders to get the win on the road.
Let's stay with a team in the state, the Houston Texans. They're playing at the Cincinnati Bengals. I know everyone's loving the Texans and what C.J. Stroud did last week, but I really want to fade the Bengals here. We just had 2 big wins against the 49ers and Bills on Sunday night. And then next week, week 11, Thursday night game at Baltimore. Chance Jamar Chase doesn't play. I think because they have a bigger game next week, that increases the chances it happens. I can see the Texans being a live dog here. About plus 250 on the money line. I like them against the spread. And, of course, make sure to sprinkle on the money line.
All right, best bets time, boys. We're going to start with Nate, but I've been real cold. I've
Get
had
that
3
hat on.
straight best bet losses.
You jinxed mine last week.
This is going to be bad. I did. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's been a bad run. Nate, we'll start with you. Best bet of the week.
Yep, Atlanta Falcons, minus 1.5. I know no one wants the Falcons after how they lost to Josh Dobbs and the Vikings last week. But on the other side, Kyler Murray expected to make his debut. And I really want to fade Kyler Murray early in the season. I think he'll be rusty. He's returning to a roster that doesn't have the quality that he's used to playing in Arizona the last few years. I think this is a very manageable point spread for the Falcons to cover. I'm happy they're playing the Falcons because it is a small point spread, and I do want to fade the Cardinals early with Murray back and active. So give me the Falcons, minus 1.5.
Give me the Maize and Blue, Michigan, minus 4.5. I talked about them on the first segment. I love this Michigan team. Best team in the country. They go to Penn State. It's not a night game. It's a noon start. They're going to be ready. They're going to be good. Best offense, best defense in this country. Michigan, minus 4.5. Colby, finish us up.
Oh, look at that. We're back with the Raiders and the Jets. We're taking the Raiders under 17.5 team total. They've gone under this number in 6 of their 9 games. Wow. Also, they've gone under it 7 of their 9 games on 18. That's just 1 extra point. Guess what? The Jets' whole team's at 19 points per game. They've gone under it. They've allowed under that 4 of their 8 games. Aiden O'Connell? Oh, my God. I'm shivering. I'm petrified. Give me that under. Come on. Cigars? 4th win?
We're going to get right, boys. Colby, Nate, I'm Ben. That's Monty. We'll see you next time.